YouTube friends and family. I am out in the garden and I want to tell you all, I'm wearing an autumn shirt. I mean, it's just a summer t-shirt because y'all, we finally are getting some cool weather. So it's been down in the low 50s at night, kind of chilly. So I'm out here doing a few things and I thought I would just bring you along. My garden is looking sparse, but I have beautiful, beautiful sunflowers. Y'all, behind me, if you can see, my mammoths are starting to bloom. And this one's interesting because it's a twin. So it was a volunteer and 2 sunflowers came out of it. So a lot of things are out of the garden. I've not had a garden wrap up quite this early. So let me just pan around and show you a couple things. So I still have all my wonderful loofah. I really like using the cattle panel for sturdy reasons. I have a lot of blooms for my birdhouse gourds, but what I'm seeing is this. They're not all getting fertilized. Here's a loofah that did not get, I keep saying fertilized, pollinated. Kind of the same thing. But zucchini, onions, and garlic on. My pumpkins died. And I don't have much of that, but this was just not a good pumpkin year. Of course, I have all the zinnias, sunflowers, some volunteers here. And what I will share with you is this ding dang thing never bloomed, and it was supposed to be a hollyhock. And yeah, it didn't bloom. So I pulled all of the leaves off of this one, and it's starting again. I'm gonna just leave it go. I'm probably gonna do the same here. I don't understand why it won't bloom, but look at my lavender, y'all. And this is a perennial. This is just a watering thing. I still have some kohlrabi left here. The cucumbers, of course, are finished. I finally cut back my herbs. I harvested all my beans, and my mini pumpkins were done. Wow, that one's making a break for it. Finally, I'm starting to get, I've got lots of blooms. I'm starting to get some sweet peppers, albeit they are peculiarly, that's a hard word, shaped, but they're just sweet peppers. So, let's see. I guess I'm going to have to show you my bed of shame. My tomatoes look awful. But what I'm going to do now is I am going to go ahead and harvest back my strawberry popcorn. I've harvested all the ears, but I'm actually going to take the shocks down. I've got some twine over here, and we're going to make ourselves a little shock of fodder for this fallish air today. So this is kind of like the 5 loaves and 2 fishes. This is a ball of twine that I took out of my father's barn many years ago, and I've used it in various projects, and it never seems to get any smaller. So I've just laid out a couple pieces, and what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to take a pair of nippers, and we're going to cut it, and then take it, and I'm going to lay it across, and we will just build our shock. So let me get these cut down, show you how we'll tie them up, and we'll have a little free decor. We'll try this again. I was just talking away and you'd fallen over. So I'm trying to find a place to prop you. I did not bring my ring light out, and I probably should have. So I am finding a few ears. I've found 2 thus far that did well. Now here's one that got some kind of a ick. But if I find any salvageable ears, we'll certainly pick those. Most of what's left is things like this that, I don't know if y'all can even tell that that's kind of an ear. What I can say is the stalks were so dry. So dry. And you know, it was just time. It's time to keep cleaning up the garden because we have a lot of crafting to do. And, you know, I hope a little bit later in this video, I'm going to bring you a craft, a fun craft. It is sort of Halloween, but you could make it fall. You wouldn't have to make it Halloween. Okay, so let me see if I can find a spot to rest you. Don't like. Okay, here we go. Well, hello, Jolene. I've got the girls out, and they are so happy. They've been very, very good about the fact that they're stuck inside so much. And I hate that for them. But it's by inside, I mean in the coop. They can't free range. But y'all, I just can't take a chance, because I would never get over it if, you know, we had another disaster. Now that I'm aware, and what I'm doing is I'm just bundling this back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and I'll probably put 3 on. You'll excuse the blood running to my face. Okay, let's knot this off. The one disadvantage for me of having these fodder shocks is, as they dry out, y'all, they tend to break off and scatter over the lawn, but they're just so festive and fallish, and with this cooler weather, I'm like, well, I so need that. Okay, let's please be a good one. Let me show y'all. See if we got anything. So we've got the brown silks. So definitely ready. Okay. This is not as pretty as some of them I've already pulled off, but this is a good one. And I read this morning that chickens will eat corn silks. Not read, I heard on a YouTube video at YouTube University. So how about that, y'all? Pretty, pretty, pretty. So I've gotten 3 off of this, and I may see more as I go up. You've kind of got the gist of what I'm doing. I think I'm going to try for 2 wraps. I may need to do 3. We'll just see how it's looking, and then we'll get it placed and enjoyed. So stay tuned. I hope you all will laugh with me, because yes, I tied the shock of fodder to the support bar. So, yeah, so we're gonna have to undo that, but it made a nice full shock. I was able to do it with just 2 pieces of twine to start, and we'll get it hung up and see if it's, you know, sturdy and holding together. Well, y'all, for a little bit of twine and a little bit of effort and having to cut it off of the bed, I've had this scarecrow for a long time now. Being out in the weather like this, it's probably going to deteriorate pretty quickly. It was just a cheapy Walmart. But just an idea for you, if you're able to get some, pardon me, corn shocks, they just really look fallish and festive, and I am super happy that I finished up this little project. Well, good morning, day 2 of the video, but this is the fun craft portion of the video. So what are we going to make? We are going to make a vintage inspired Halloween shaker, not a salt and pepper shaker, like a noise maker. So right here, I am going to insert, I think I copied 3 listings, 3 true vintage Halloween shaker listings from eBay. And the prices range from $175 to $185. But let's see if we can create one for pennies on the dollar with materials you probably have hanging around your house. So each and every time I go to Heart of Ohio Antique Mall, I have to look at the vintage Halloween. There are so many really, really neat things, usually behind a glass case, because they're fragile. A lot of things were made of paper mache or paper. And guys, I'm just gonna tell you, they're out of my price range. But I learned from the YouTubes, and I'll leave a link to her channel below because this is not my original idea. And I learned a lot from this lady. I think it's called Crafting All Night Long, and I may be saying that wrong, so I will leave the link. But she actually made this, and I thought, this is brilliant. So from the 1910s to the 1960s, there were a lot of novelty, I'll say Halloween toys for kids. I think they were actually parent annoyers because most of them made noise. So these were made of cardboard, sometimes wood, sometimes tin. And I've noticed just from perusing this morning, trying to stay off of eBay, that the tin ones that are in good shape are the really, really pricey ones. So some were plastic as well. And they were primarily produced in Germany, Japan, and the United States. And the manufacturers, and I had to write this down, y'all, because I couldn't remember this. T. Cohen, K-O-H-N, Cohen, J. Chen and Company, Kirchhoff, and U.S. Metal Toy, which is probably, you know, in my childhood, what I saw. I never owned one. Halloween was not a big holiday for our family at all. So what did they make? They made things that made noise. So there were horns, clickers. Would that get on your last nerve? Ratchets, which usually are the things that you spin that go, and clangers, shakers, and tambourines. Now, I have seen quite a few tambourines in Heart of Ohio Antique Mall, but this gal was genius. So what you're gonna need, y'all recognize what this is? It is a cheese box from, is it Baby Bell? I'll look. And I did go ahead and peel off the labels. It really wasn't that hard. It's not completely smooth. And what's really cool is it already has the hole in it. And what we're going to do is we're gonna paint this, we're gonna embellish it. I'm gonna teach you how, because I just learned, to make your own festooning. So festooning is a paper or crepe paper garland that can be used for all sorts of things. But y'all, I want to tell you, it is pricey. And maybe it's just me. I hate to complain because everything is pricey right now. So I just peeled off the paper. I wish I could think of what kind of cheese that was. If you are going to use an image like a sticker, which you totally could do that, you could put anything you want on here. You could put a black cat, you could put a bat, you could make it a pumpkin, which is what I'm going to do. If you don't want the Halloween influence, you could do like fall leaves or a fall scene or a scarecrow face would be really cute too. So this doesn't have to be strictly Halloween. You can change it up any way you want. So let's talk about supplies first. So you're going to need a box. You know, I think probably Michael's and maybe Hobby Lobby have the unfinished wood, like a shaker box is what they're called. So it doesn't have to be this thin. If you want yours to make noise, I don't. Just because this is made of cardboard and it's for showing, not for blowing, if you remember that line from Laverne and Shirley. You're going to need some kind of a stick. This is actually a sucker stick, but you want something that you can secure inside to make your shaker. It's the only thing I could find this morning. And you're going to need some paint. I'm going to try chalk paint. I'm sure, in fact, she did not use chalk paint. She used like the regular little acrylic bottles. I may have to go get those as well. And you're gonna need a hot glue gun, which I haven't gotten out yet. And then to make our own festooning, let me show you. Y'all, it's so cheap. It is so, I should say, inexpensive. So you're gonna need some crepe paper streamers. And if you have the hiccups, it's a bonus. Y'all, I so apologize. I can't help it. If I could, I would. And if I had to do a cut every time I hiccuped, I'd never get a video done. So you could use 5 colors. It's going to be a 5-layer festooning. I only got 3, and these are $1 and some change at Walmart. And the brand, y'all, it's actually made in the USA. How about that? Is a flame-resistant streamer assembled in the USA, factory certified, okay? It's just Walmart brand. So you're gonna need some crepe paper. I just chose 3 colors because that's what Walmart had. You're gonna need some string of some sort. I did go ahead and buy a ball of jute twine because I don't like using my food safe twine because I might need to tie up, you know, something that I'm cooking, and this would not be food safe. So you need a little bit of twine. And then, got myself some more glue sticks. You need some rubber cement. Now, why would you use rubber cement instead of a glue gun? When you think about how the glue from a glue gun dries, it's not flexible. And the way we're gonna make this, you need it to be very flexible. So you could use this or you could use fabric glue. This is infinitely cheaper than fabric glue. I do have fabric glue. Pardon me, must be a cat hair up my nose. But I decided this would be the better option. So let's get this out of the way. And then, y'all, I'm gonna try to adjust the camera so you can see what I'm doing. I'm not very good at that. There's one other thing that I want to say, and I don't want to take this to a negative space, but somebody was in a cranky mood this weekend. So yesterday, a person kind of blew up the comment section on a couple videos with just nastiness. And, you know, I just mute them, delete it. If you saw it, I apologize. Y'all, I try to keep up with it, especially if the comments, you know, inappropriate. I'll just leave it at that. But this was more just being negative and nasty. And you know what, guys? The only thing I can do is remove it so you don't have to see it. And also, I don't want to see it. But pray for that person because they would have to be so unhappy. Not a subscriber, first time they've ever been on my channel, to come in and put all that negativity out there. Okay, enough about that. And I also want to say one more thing. I want to thank you, Miss Tessie. I sent Tessie a little package of some things that I knew that she would enjoy as I'm trying to go through my whole house. And a lot of the things that my son left behind because Mom's going to start taking things up to him. I found a couple things that I knew that she would enjoy. So Tessie, thank you for the shout out. I really appreciate you. Y'all, if you've never watched Homestead Tessie's channel, she's a wealth of knowledge about gardening, growing herbs, and just living a peaceful life. I watch her videos in the morning. She has a video almost every day at like 7 in the evening. And it's so calming to me. So you're not going to get a bunch of drama. It's not Girl World, it's not. I gotta quit watching Girl World, y'all. But it's like my stories, you know what I'm saying? All right, let me get the paint ready. And sun's not up yet, y'all. It's only 5:30. So I've already done the chicken chores, but I still have to water what's left of the garden. So let's get repositioned and we'll start painting our faux Halloween vintage shaker. All right, I'm going to see what the salmon coral looks like. I have a suspicion. Yeah, see, that's too peachy for me. Yeah, it's too peachy. So I have to mix my own, and I have the color Imperial, which, y'all, is a real pretty red. Very pretty red. It needs stirred a bit. And then a vintage mustard. Oh, how appropriate is that? So if I mix the red and the yellow together, we should have just the perfect orange. I could probably add some red to this. So there's a few options, but let me go get some stir sticks and mix up the paint, and then we'll get started. All right, y'all. I tried mixing the bright red, and this is more of a gold color. I got a lovely shade of pink. So I decided, I'm just gonna go with the acrylic paint. I have 2 here. This is Apple Barrel Harvest Orange and Folk Art Pure Orange. I kind of like this one better, but because I think it needs 2 coats, I'm going to start with the one I like the least. So let's get some paint out. And Try to keep the paint off of yourself. So one thing I can say is there's a bit of texture to this from, you know, peeling off the sticker. But I think, guys, that's just gonna add to vintage charm. I'm really not horribly worried about it. And I personally think 2 light coats are better than 1 heavy coat. So I'm gonna go kind of light with it. And you can see the paper through it a little bit. I think the second coat will cover it up. That's why I wanted to use the chalk paint, but I don't want to end up with a pumpkin that's not pumpkin colored, right? So are you all enjoying some cooler weather? Y'all, it's 52 degrees here this morning, and I'm loving it. First of all, my air conditioner can take a break, as can my electric bill. And it's really pleasant to work in the garden and the flower beds when it's not so hot. What is that? I don't know. So what I'm going to do is get a nice coat on here. Acrylics dry pretty fast. And y'all, I'm going to tell you, we're going to do something to the outside edges, i.e. put the festooning on. So it's probably not super important to have this painted, but I want it to look finished. So that's what we are going to do. So yes, how are your gardens doing? Mine is wrapping up, y'all. I still have tomatoes, and I'm still waiting on peppers. I have a lot of peppers to harvest for cowboy candy, for fermented hot sauce, for just plain eating. And probably the bell peppers I will dice and freeze. For me, that seems to be the best preservation method. I have canned them and used pickle fresh. I got that idea from Whippoorwill Holler, and it actually does work. But I still prefer them just frozen. They're easier to use. So you can see it's not opaque so much. So let me go ahead and paint the top. I'm gonna let that dry, and then we'll go in with a little bit darker color for our second coat once this is dried. You could use a heat gun if you want to speed up the drying process. However, I'm not so sure what it would do to the paper. We don't need to have a fire yet this morning. All right, guys, see you shortly. All right, y'all. While our paint dries, let's make some festooning. So ignore the tomatoes over here. Y'all, it's like the never-ending tomato extravaganza out in my garden, so be forewarned. You're always going to see tomatoes in my videos. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a fairly long piece of string. This is super scientific, y'all. So about 3 feet of string is where I'm going to start. And let's get our streamers open. Y'all, I have not crafted with crepe paper in years, but when I was a youngster and we always had a birthday party, you know, we might not have celebrated Halloween, you know, full on. We always passed out candy, but I will tell you, we always had nice birthdays, pretty cakes, you know, loads of friends over. It was just so much fun. And my mom, we had a hanging light in the center of the kitchen. Woo! My mom would decorate everything up with streamers and balloons, and it was really neat. So I happen to know, just because of watching the video, that we're looking for about a 16-inch length to go around our cheese box. And y'all, while I'm thinking of it, let me check and tell you what kind of cheese that was. Okay. It's Laughing Cow cheese, not Baby Bell. I knew that was not right. Okay, so I am going to start with finding the beginning of it. And let's see, this is kind of glued. So yeah, let's kind of cut that bad part off. So I'm gonna cut, I don't know, maybe we'll do 17. 17-inch piece of the black. Then you want to take, this is Elmer's Craft Lawn. You want to take your rubber cement and you want to go right down the middle. Boy, I tell you, rubber cement brings back memories of school and art class. Must be getting old because I'm doing a lot of reminiscing. And you may want to go ahead and cut your pieces ahead, but I will say rubber cement doesn't dry quickly like a glue gun glue will. Okay. Then another reason you do want to use that type of glue, not only is it flexible, but it allows you to reposition, because I don't know about y'all, but I'm not expert in any manner on getting things 100% straight. And I was probably a little heavy-handed with the glue, but what is that? Just a little piece of something on the crepe paper. Then we'll do we're going to do a total of 5 rows, but oops, we're going to try not to do what I just did. I mean, I know it's cheap, but I don't like to waste anything. And I think what I'm going to do this time is I think I'm going to cut it ahead so that I'm not fiddling. Okay. Yeah. And we'll put our 3rd row on. I can see where fabric glue being flexible, whoops, don't run off the, whoopsie. You do want to try to keep it in the middle, because as we start to twist this, cut it and twist it, we don't want the edges glued together like I just did, but one little bit isn't going to hurt. Okay. The nice thing about crepe paper too is it's kind of stretchy, so it makes it a little bit easier to line it up, but it doesn't have to be 100%. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we are going to put a string down right in the center. So I'm going to try to be a little more careful with centering this, but it's festooning, y'all, so it can be festive. If it isn't 100%, it's not the end of the world. I would also recommend you not get great big globs like I tend to be doing. This brush is a bit stiff. Not sure why or why. But you can kind of see from previous rows where the center is. So I'm going to pull my string in half and go just like this. So you want to put it right in the middle. Now, this is going to not only take the glue we've already put down. Now you stay right there. You're going to have to put some glue on top of it to hold it. And I wonder if cotton string wouldn't work better. Stay. Let's see if we can glue it down. If not, we'll grab some cotton string. This is jute, but I think it'll be all right. Yeah, it just needs a little more glue. And we're going to put 2 more layers on. I'm going to do orange next and then black last. The gal that I watched had some polka dot. I wanted the polka dot so bad, but I couldn't find it. You could probably go to like a Party City, would probably have it, would be my guess. Yeah. So, it's not perfectly adhered, but it will be. So let's Go ahead and cut our last two. Our orange. So we're going to end up with a total of 5 layers. 5. Y'all, I need to work on my southern speak, not be so daggone southern. All right, so I'm going to put this right over it, and I am going to try to line it up a little better. I think the extra layer of crepe paper will help it be straight, because I didn't get it very straight. But y'all, it's festooning. It can be a little bit festive. It can be a little bit wonky. It's Halloween, right? The nice thing about making your own is not just price, y'all. Okay, that totally seals it up, so don't get too stressed out about the string. Y'all, sometimes I have crafts I've done ahead, and sometimes I just have crafts that I do on the fly, you know, from something I've seen, so I'm not perfect. So I kind of learn as I go along. I try not to waste your time with anything that's an epic fail. So far, we're doing good with our Laughing Cow cheese box. I did go ahead and put the second coat on. Went out and watered the garden in the dark. Oh, my word. Okay, ooh, don't drop it. Well, that's a little shy, but that's all right. It'll be all right. Okay. Now, don't get it wonky like I just did. Try to keep it straight. So here's what we have. Now I'm going to let this dry for just a second. It'll just be a TikTok for you. Then what we're going to do is we're going to fold it like this, but I don't want it to all glue together. I want it to dry a minute. We're going to cut it, and then we're going to twist it, and it's going to make some beautiful garland. Y'all, if you have patience, because this does take a while with all the little cuts and such, you could do so much with this. And if you store it carefully, like maybe wrap it in bubble wrap, you can probably use it for several years to come. All right, guys, let me let this dry. All right, y'all, it's dried enough. I did go and look at the video so I could share her name properly. It's Up All Night DIY. Kind of the story of my life, because I've been awake since 11 o'clock last night. So this is nice and dry. And what you want to do is you want to fold it in half at the string. So you want the string right in the middle. Now, it may not be 100% even. And what this gal did, she's really fun to watch too. She trimmed it up once she got it all done, but I don't think it's going to be noticeable if the string isn't 100% in the middle. Okay, so we've got it folded in half. Now, let me share a little something with you. I will link this in the description box. My son got this for me because I go through craft scissors like there's no tomorrow. So this is a scissor sharpener made by Fiskars, and all you do, if you see there's 2 holes here, you stick your scissors in, open them up, and then close them, which pulls it out. Now let me tell y'all, you sharpen it a couple times, and this will cut you, so be careful. Hopefully there'll be no bleeding in this. So now what we want to do is we want to go and cut up to, but not into the string, about every 1/4 inch. Now, if you want fatter ruffles, I guess you would say, then you could put them further apart. This certainly does not have to be exact in any way, shape, or form. You just don't want to cut through your string, because your string is what's going to hold your festooning together. So it does help to have nice, sharp scissors, for sure. So let me finish cutting through this. I'll show you the next step. All right, y'all. So we have our 1/4 inch cuts. Next thing you want to do is you want to go ahead and open it out. Oops, try not to pull off pieces, but it's full enough that it really won't hurt. So I'm looking for the black center, like this, all the way down. This might take a little fiddling. Here we go. You get the idea, right? This has got a twist in it. So once you've opened it up to the string area, and I can do some of this off camera, so it's not like watching paint dry, right? What you want to do is go down each one and give it about half of a twist. So this is going to floof it up, give you that true vintage paper garland or paper festooning look. And I do recommend that you do let your glue dry. The crepe paper is pretty delicate, and if it's still wet with the glue, you run the risk of tearage. So, kind of fluff her up. And guys, how cute is this? So this is gonna actually, when I finish it up, go around our little shaker box. And I'm waiting for paint to dry before we start painting the face. So I will bring you back in just a second. Well, now the fun and the creativity begins. So what I did was I just took a quarter because that looked like about the right size for the eye. I freehanded the nose, and then I'll freehand the mouth. So I am just going to go in with Arteza Mars Black. Feel like I'm gonna sneeze. And just fill in the blanks, so to speak. So let me get the faces on this far, and I'll bring you back for what I'm gonna do next. All right, y'all, we're on the home stretch. Now, before I show you, artiste I am not, but I think it turned out super cute. So they're not identical, but they're free-handed. And I did use a little bit of float medium and a little bit of burnt umber to make the stripes on the pumpkin. If you don't have confidence that you could, you know, draw this, is pretty simple. And like I said, I'm not an artist. This vintage ephemera book is really cool. They just have all kinds of, you know, different images that you could use. Some really old-fashioned ones, and you could decoupage it on, have two different sides. That would work too. Now, I'm gonna take my sucker stick and I'm gonna insert it, but before I do that, I'm gonna go ahead and glue the two together, which shouldn't be too hard. And although this has holes in it, I didn't worry about the placement of the holes. You do want to make sure your faces are both right side up. And there we go. Because the hole's too big. So I'm just gonna kind of squish it together. I'm not gonna worry a lot about the glue at the edges because it's gonna get covered up by our paper that we made. So let's figure out where our stick goes. And where are my scissors? Oh, right here. Y'all, I'm on the struggle bus here. Bad back day, you know, sometimes you just have those. So I'm just gonna make a little hole with the point of a scissor. You could use, well, maybe I'm not. I probably should have done this before. You could use an awl, A-W-L, you know. Well, that just does not want to go through. Let me try a knife. Oh, the girl method. Crafting tools in your kitchen. Wow, this is just like so soft. It's wanting just to go right through it. Maybe I should go through the upper one. Let me get the hole made. Hold on, guys. My apologies, y'all. The knife was the trick. I highly recommend you put your hole in before you glue them together. Thankfully, my glue wasn't totally stuck and I was able to take it apart and put the stick on. I put a lot of glue around the stick so that it would hold, I mean, this is a display item, so don't plan on, you know, rattling it. I didn't put anything in it. You could put beans, you could put rocks, you could put anything. This is such an economical craft, in my opinion. So I probably have, let's see, maybe $4 with the crate paper stuff. The string, I could have used something I had. The cheese box, obviously, I already had. The paints, I already had. I'm going to use a little bit of ribbon. So it's really economical. So one thing I wanted to do, you know, I've got glue strings. Let me try to get those off. I just took 3 little scraps of ribbon. This is a great way to use up ribbon. So this is like a houndstooth with pumpkins. This is just pumpkins. And then this one says boo. But if you were doing this like with a harvest scene or a scarecrow, you could use anything like to bring out the colors and whatever you painted or decoupaged. I'm also gonna take a chenille stem, or as I like to call them, pipe cleaner. Back in the day, that's what we called them. Let's see, I guess I need to go this way. You know what, before we put that on, let's start gluing down our festooning. This is gonna be so cute. Now, if it's too flat in areas, just, you know, give it a couple twists. I was amazed how easy this was to make and how vintage it actually looked. So I'm gonna start at the bottom here. Y'all, let me try not to, I'm gonna have to scooch down a little bit because my cord is short. So I am gonna put a pretty, well, I was gonna put a pretty generous amount of glue, but my glue stick ran out. See what I mean about the struggle bus, guys? And sometimes to get a glue stick started, you have to kind of press it in. There we go. And I'm just gonna do small areas at a time. I'm gonna leave the string attached, and you know, you can use your little plastic fingers. This is actually a makeup application brush I got from the Dollar Tree a few years ago. So y'all getting excited for fall? I'm always excited for fall because it is my favorite season, but I don't think I've been any happier to see the weather cool down. It has just been kind of difficult to work in the garden. Y'all know that my garden's in full afternoon sun. So I have to get out and get after it. That's why I'm up so early. Actually, it was years of working very early shifts. I never have, after 5 years of retirement, gotten out of that habit. So often I have like full day's work done by like 9 o'clock. That's a good thing, right? I did notice when I was looking for the channel name of Up All Night DIY, and we'll have a little bit extra here, I noticed that a lot of crafters did Junoween. So, you know, videos have been up a little minute, but there's all kinds. There's like a collaboration with a bunch of people. I need to put a parental block on craft channels because I can't seem to stop making crafts, but you know what, y'all? I really enjoy it, and it's not super expensive. You know, I don't go out a lot, so you know, I won't say I never go out, but I don't go out a lot. I'm almost worried of how that's gonna be if I cut that string. She didn't strictly cover that. I'm kind of fiddling with it, but it's super cute. I'll show you here in a minute. I think I'm gonna go ahead and try to knot off the end of the string, so maybe it won't unravel. I don't see how it could unravel. It's all glued, but all right, let's finish this part up. And if you want it fuller around the edges, you could do 2 layers. 2 would be cute. Lots of glue. And I am using the Gorilla Glue all temperature glue sticks. I really like them. I don't have glue failures with it. I just find it to be a good glue. You know, it's a few pennies more than the generic ones you get at the Dollar Tree, but I like them better. All right, so let's go ahead and live dangerously. Go ahead and cut these strings. And try to glue that knot down a little bit so it's not so visible. Usually I manage to glue my hands together. Y'all, this thing is so stinking cute. Like, how cute is that? Got a lot of glue strings. All right. Then I'm going to just wrap the ribbon around. You know, just for, you don't have to do this, but just makes it a little more festivus. Make sure I've got all the strings through. There we go. You could do a fancy bow. I'm not doing a fancy bow. And just kind of twist those so you can see all the different patterns. Here goes another one of my country words. All right, I am gonna go ahead and kind of glue this in place because it's gonna want to slide off. Like I said, the mini glue sticks, they really go quick. And I used a ton of glue on the trim. Okay, that looks good. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And then let me grab like a pin or something. I'm gonna take the pipe cleaner, chenille stem, and I'm just gonna wrap it around so it's got some curly cues, you know, fancy it up. And there, guys, we have our vintage remade little pumpkin shaker. I think it's super cute. I think it was well worth the time. It really wasn't frustrating. I probably should have made one for myself and then made it for the video, but I hope it wasn't too much of a struggle for you to watch. So you now know how to make yourself a shock of fodder. And I meant to tell you yesterday, y'all, they used to be like $5. Now they're like 20 bucks. So I was really glad I had enough to kind of decorate up my garden. And decoration number 1 for the Halloween season, I'm not sure where I'll put this, but probably on the step back cupboard with some of my vintage looking dishes. If you all would do me a big favor, go ahead and smash that like button. Drop me a comment below. Would you consider making a imitation vintage shaker box? Or what other ideas do you have besides just making it pumpkin and more Halloween? I would love to hear from all of you. And I want to say a big welcome to all of our new subscribers. Quite a few of y'all came over from Homestead Tessie. I'm glad each and every one of you are here. I hope you'll stick around. We have a really good group. All right, guys, I will see you, let's see, on Thursday, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. So far as I know, that's the way it'll be. Today, I am going to rest my back. I kind of overdid it yesterday in the garden. Imagine that, Kym overdoing it. Wonder why I have a bad back. All right, guys, I will see you very soon. And until then, be healthy, be well, be blessed, and take care.